Daddy, I want to be a photographer. Their own generation, the way they took it. There's this Sony camera that my parents used to own. My dad, he gave it to me. When I moved to Lagos, I discovered that a lot of photographers don't have a studio. So they rent studios. That is a major problem in Lagos. And I'm a problem solver. I said, okay, no problem. I'll solve your problem. Come and rent my studio.
Is it necessary to use an expensive camera?
Some people will say camera doesn't matter, gear doesn't matter, blah blah blah. And to me, that's a big lie. I believe as a man, when you have an income, nothing is stopping you from getting married. No shades, but then Benue and the co guys, they really don't welcome development like that. They want to be in their stand, they want to be in charge. It doesn't work like that in this part of the world. Lagos, nobody send you for Lagos. You're doing yours, I'm doing mine. Everybody is trying to do something. Mind your business. 2001. There's this Sony camera that my parents used to own, and that, and he gave it to me. And I just entered school just this one. I was just looking up what to do, just to hand something. You know, I started snapping on friends with, and I would take this camera. So there's a film. It's used to use the film, and then would buy a film, put it inside, take pictures with my friend, take it to the lab. So the lab was Bob Shage, Bajan and Lauren. That's the name of it. The man is no more. I think the business crashed. Even though it's keeps his children are photographers. I think they are getting 2 or 3 children are photographers now. They're doing well. But then that particular business, printing business, crashed just few years after the man died or something. So that was my first contact with a camera. Yeah. And ever since, even after that wasn't in use anymore, we were still using mobile phones when we started using com. You know, that was years after they introduced mobile phones, and then I was able to get a mobile phone that could take pictures, and I've always been this picture kind of person. Even though I didn't take it further after school, I just let it like that until, you know, 3 years ago when I decided to go into it in full, but being a professional.
What triggered you after leaving it since that?
So I had other businesses running before then, and I discovered that the problem with having a business is not you running the business, it's just the people running the business for you. So I wanted this business where I'll be able to run myself as well as people running it for me without having to think too much of it. I don't know if you understand. So I've had several businesses, one of which logistics business. Yeah. And I discovered that I could not do anything for my logistics business other than to run it. So I could not ride the bike. I could not deliver myself. I could not just run it. So I was depending so much on people to do that for me. You get? And it was something for me when I traveled. I actually left the country for a while. And when I was away, started having, it's management and all troubles here and there. So I decided to just, um, shut it down. So when I came back, I just picked up photography, and I went through some training, personal training I never learned from anyone. I learned online. And after I moved to Lagos and I started full time, I was going to master classes, going to conferences, and trying to learn more about the business of photography because I'm a businessman. I tell people that I'm a businessman in photography.
So you're a businessman. Now, the idea of photography generally is creative on the health of a business, doing it a sense and logic. So how do you now mix it? You run a content studio, and that is it may be late to photography, but someone that doesn't know, do not know that it's a totally different ball game running the business and the content studio. How do you now mix it?
Well, I I've always known from school that I'm just going to be an entrepreneur. Like I just have to do something. So even before photography, even back then, I still used to draw. I used to paint. I know I just love creating. I love using my hands. I love working in my hands. I don't like to be hobby. I want to create something. I want to do something. I want to show myself. So I've always been that kind of person. And you know, coming to Lagos, I had in mind that I was gonna, you know, run a studio. Yeah. And if you want to run a studio, it's not possible for you to run a studio without having the knowledge of what you are running. For example, when I started the studio, I started running it myself. Then later I employed someone, and then it wasn't just delivering what I needed. I had to make people from there here. I employed someone else and still the same thing. Um, you know, at that point, I felt I didn't think you guys can just do it the way I'm doing. Yeah. Even though I can't do it all by myself, I try as much as possible to delegate, you know, these roles. But then sometimes you just have to combine the two as it being a creative and running the business of particular. Mhm. You know, it's not easy. I won't deceive you, but I know it's something we've been doing and something that you can do.
You know, I told you I come from a place where I schooled in Makodi, lived in Makodi. In that place, there's hardly any content studio. Maybe five maximum. So some people might be listening and getting ideas that they want to do that kind of thing, bring something new to your place that doesn't exist before. But what would you tell them?
Okay, so you need to do something. Before you do a business, I think you need to do a market survey. I've been to Beme before. I schooled in Kogi State University, so I know that area. I've been in Bene. I was in Bene for like a month. Mm, you know, and I discovered that no shades, but then Benue and the co guys, they really don't welcome development like that. They want to be in their stand. They want to be in charge. Even then, when I was in school, I was at a shop where I was repairing mobile phones and laptops, and I started facing challenges whereby people would confront me and say, "I'm just a student. Why will I open a shop? Why will I be taking their money?" I was one of the first distributors to distribute BlackBerry back then. I was selling BlackBerry and I would sell and repair, and people would come for me. I was selling for the top people, politicians, and all. And then some of the indigent would just come for me like, this guy in studios you do now, on coming home, pack our money and all of those things. It doesn't work like that in this part of the world. Lagos, nobody's saying it for Lagos. They're doing yours, I'm doing mine. You understand? Like everybody is trying to do something. Mind your business. And we embrace development. We now we're in the era of AI. Yeah. And even though at the beginning people started throwing shades at AI is not good, AI is this, AI is bad. And at the end of the day, one thing you need to know is that you just have to adapt. You need to grow with what is going or what is coming. Yeah. You don't just say no. When we started driving, I remember some years ago when they started bringing in a lot of automatic vehicles, and then people started condemning it. Mechanics started condemning that. Mechanics is not good. Yes, automatic is not good. Manual is better. Automatic is this. Manual is this. You understand? Just because they are not ready to embrace it or the change, the updates, upgrade. You know, I just feel Benin people, uh, those that side of the country, they just need to they need to develop themselves. They need to embrace this new development. I'm not sure if I even saw a photo studio when I was there for a month. I'm not sure I saw one.
What year was that?
That was 2017. Another point is I think it depends on your value. If you don't value something, you won't go for it. So if many people don't value it, I think they would embrace. It happens in Lagos too when you see some people will reach out to you that they want to be photo shoot and then you give them your price and you're like, that's too expensive. And like, just for photos, it's not just to, and it's like just, why can't you do it yourself then? It's just, I don't know if you get the point. So I think that's what happens. if you establish something like this in Benue, how the people will see that's the cost there. How would they are they willing and ready to shoot? Are they willing and ready to do content? That's one of the things you need to consider. So you do your market survey, you look for as an entrepreneur, you're solving problem. Yeah. So you look for a problem. So what problem are you solving by setting up a studio? By setting up a studio in Birmingham. Are they in need of a studio? Is that what they need? Are they, you go around, probably talk to people, business owners, people that if you have like if you can put some studio owners there,
Or photographers.
yeah, and have a chat with them. I don't know about now, but I don't know about then. Oh, so maybe it has changed. I don't know. It's been like 7 or 8 years. Yeah. So I don't know. So back then, 2017, yeah, I never saw one where I stay. And we do all of these things before we're setting up a studio. When I moved to Lagos, I discovered that a lot of photographers don't have a studio in Lagos, and they are thriving. They are shooting. So they rent studios because cost of living in Lagos is quite high. Getting a big space to run a studio is high. So people would prefer to like rent. Yeah. Since we can't own one, we want to rent. Say, I said, what can I be? That is a major problem in Lagos. And I'm a problem solver. I said, no problem. I'll solve your problem. Come and rent my studio.
That's what second it with the BlackBerry thing. You were fixing phones, you were distributing phones in school as a student. You were solving a problem clearly, and yet you still managed to tame certain people.
Yeah. At some point, I was growing, and it became a problem.
Yeah. And so when you're small, they don't really care. If when it seems like you are making it from the thing that you're doing.
Yeah, it's making money in this thing. Dating from Lagos, living OV, and
You see equipment, your camera equipment and lights and cameras, they're independent. Is it necessary to use an expensive camera if you want to get a certain quality of work or output?
okay. So I don't want it to say it that way, right? So these things are not produced in Nigeria, and all of them are imported. So the conversion rate is one that is affecting the prices of baseball. That is why they are expensive. It's not about the more expensive. And yes, so the new cameras are expensive. Like recent cameras are expensive. Year of production is different. The cost of production, and then they're expensive, and they are improved. So of course, improved cameras will give you a better. Yeah. Yeah, some people will say camera doesn't matter, jet doesn't matter, blah blah blah. And to me, that's a big lie. Honestly, that's a very big lie. Because when you use, there's some gears you use and you put in little effort, and there's some gears you use that you have to put, plenty effort to get the same result. So gears matter. You move, you update yourself. Often like in regular business, you can't just sit and say gear doesn't matter. You don't want to say, yeah, that fades. Most of these cameras that people are even complaining that is expensive. Most of these cameras are old cameras. My camera was produced in 2018. Canon EOS R, and this is 7 years after. And you are still buying UK. There's no brand new again. But if you are buying the used UK, here you are 2 million, 1.9.
So the cameras that I hear, because I hear those prices, when someone's saying, okay, new camera, you start calling 1.5, 2 million, 2 point something. Those cameras are the ones that are like, I thought those are the the new ones now, the updated ones.
Yeah. We're buying new camera, like recent camera in Habakkuk. Yeah. Yeah, working in like buy from here, you know. It's a lot.
It's like a small cow.
And that's just camera, no lens.
That's the body.
My body, So I'm looking at so recently I'm looking at buying a lens, not a camera, a lens. I was talking with someone and he was like, you must still buy that. That's over 3 million. Or the lens you're not going to him. I do you have to buy that, right?
Yeah, they all have to buy that. I want to. What did it give you that say 1.5 million naira less will be?
So they are very much different, right? The quality of the pictures that is going to deliver to you.
Is it like how the color would pop? You know, or I want to know because the end user, if I'm watching something that was made with a 1.5 million naira camera or lens or a 2 million naira lens, I don't think I will know the difference. I just know
You
good
will,
quality.
you will. I can show you pictures from different photographers, and I'll tell you to choose like which one do you like, which one do you think is good. And once you pick, you discover that they were shot with recent camera. I'm talking of if you are looking at what is your hope, like updating yourself,
Yeah.
even apps on your phone, they come with updates maybe once in a week or sometimes once in a month. They update it. What are they doing? They're having something, they're improving something. So new cameras are improved quality. So you can't tell me it's not necessary or it's not good. Why are you buying a new car? Why are you not buying 1990? Why are you buying 10? Why are you buying 10? Why are you buying 2019? Those will be new features. You understand? Those will be new features. Yeah. Okay, so um, there's something they used to warn about when you're spending then you're learning photography. The first thing they start telling you is be careful with your ISO, be careful with your ISO. Than ruin your picture and do that. I tell you the truth. I'm not saying you should be careless with your ISO with the mirrorless cameras, but then with mirrorless cameras, you can manage even if your ISO is too much and if it's not enough. When you're doing your post production,
Yeah.
you can always edit and those are just kill the interfere. So, but those days with the crop sensor, once you blast your ISO key above some certain distance, you would have problems.
Like the feature will be ruined.
Yeah, doing your post production, and that's what happens.
Okay. I understand the thing to the features now. Because imagine there's this classmate of mine. I saw her post on Facebook one day where she said that she posted like 3 pictures from her wedding. And she said these are the only pictures she has from her wedding. That the reason she has only those pictures is because of something else, something about the photographer, stuff got stolen and stuff like that. But let's assume that the photographers took a picture with a very old camera and he had that same ISO issue, but it was a very old camera and he couldn't do anything about those pictures in post-production. And this is somebody's wedding. But if he used...
So it's not like you won't be able to do anything about it, but we have pictures and we have good picture.
Okay, so the outcome will not be the same.
It's not like you won't see anything.
They're not spoil the whole thing completely, but not get to that level.
Yes, might not just be, because at that point, maybe 10 years to come, you are looking at the pictures and you're like, what is this? Meanwhile, there are some people that still shot the same year you shot your own, and then you look at their pictures, you think they shot it that same year. There are some pictures that I see online, and then when I see the date they posted it, like 2020, and you compare, like, someone showed this in
You
2020.
see these things, you see these pictures of Tupac. When they this AI now, but I see pictures of Tupac and some of these old pictures, even old movies, you see them still, very, very clear.
Yes, because the short beat, quality video,
And that's the essence of pictures now. Hold the moment for
easy
for
but
time.
those moments or these moments that we are freezing now, they are not valued now. We won't value it now. People don't value it now. It is then, like 20 years, 30 years. That's when you won't tell story. When you are telling your kid, like when I was in, okay, now I told you now that I used to, um, I started handling the camera in 2021. Yeah. How would you did it? I have pictures to put it. I don't know if you understand. Anybody can just say I started this in so time there. So probably I'll show you physical pictures. They're not digital. Physical pictures. Most of them are there now. Yes, they're still there.
And then the ones you even to put in just one that you even had to print physical copy. There's I didn't even know that you have to prove anything in the future when you're doing that.
No, I was gonna be a photographer. Back then, you can't even think of being a photographer. Even though I have friends that actually wanted to at the beginning of after school, but then Even if you discover your career back then, and I want to build with the capacity, the way their own generation, the way they took it, they were doing this bit and date, where you just, no editing. Yeah, snap through, and this through, no editing, you are not paying. So some take it to the lab and just do a little at that time. And they make it right, unlike now.
You see how technology brings in new occupations. Now we have editors, people that professionally see. I saw you editing a picture. So you professionally sit and edit pictures to make it look a certain way.
Yes, I have editors that I've not even seen before. I don't know where they are. I
And you
don't
pay
know
them.
how they look, and I pay them.
But 20 years ago, that occupation didn't even exist. Or tasks necessarily didn't exist. Entirely. So is there a way that you figured out how AI can enter your business or your industry?
AI is already in the industry.
How do you use it?
Okay, so when you are editing, you can actually use AI to edit now, unlike before. So our Photoshop now comes with AI feature, whereby you can do an R&B. You can do the unthinkable. Just think it, give the prompt, and yeah.
So you can directly transfer your creativity into the work without having to
And
click and embroider.
so when I started photography, we're editing manually. It's, your hands. With the tablet. You do the brushing, do this and do that. They have applications now. I just take the pictures in. I tell the app what to do with this picture. Remove blemish to remove a little. Whiten teeth. You whiten the teeth. You can adjust the lips. You can adjust the hands. You can be behind. The photo is there. AI powered, fully powered. You just have to embrace it. That is what the world is evolving. They are moving. Yeah. So if you don't move, they will leave you behind. Well, the world will leave you behind. I don't want to be left behind.
I've seen your kids, happy looking children. I want to ask you a question that I think bothers a lot of young men that are hustling, that are looking, they are still trying to make something of themselves. They feel like if they settle down, if they have a family, if they decide to marry the person they're dating, it can stop them from getting to where they want to go or to distract them from something.
Settling down comes with a lot. And the a lot there is just responsibility. Having someone on you, not totally on you. Of course, my wife is not a liability. My children are not liability, but then they are your responsibility. And so you get to think of not only yourself now, you have to start thinking of people. Let's start thinking of people that rely. Okay, even if your spouse doesn't rely on you, but kids are relying on you 100%. Like you are their God. Daddy, I want this. Either you say yes or no. And there's one thing about kids. Nowadays, just like AI, their brain is wired that way too. Unlike when we were growing up. The way they do these days, the way they act, the way they talk, the way they learn is very, very fast. So you have to be careful. You get. And then settling down, having a family, it's a thing of joy actually because it keeps you growing. In your downtime, well, life is all about up and down. In your downtime, or for me, sometimes when I'm down and I speak to my kids, they it raises everything. Like it changes everything. Once I just hear their voice, anybody, fine. You might not have conversation like, but you're still yours, but then that voice, anyway. Everybody, anybody,
Hands to in my head. So, this is it's for when you know what it's really touching the way I think about that kind of thing. It's like the new realm of life because you bring life into the world. Yes. So I cannot really imagine what it was feel like for you to bring life into the world. Or that's going to be very long. Is there something that you thought about raising children? For example, you say when you get your own kid, this is how you are going to be. This is how you're going to be. Is there something that you thought you're going to something you planned, when it comes to how you will be with children and how it comes out?
So one thing I've always known or I learned early in life is that procrastinating kills. When I say kills, not like death dates, but then it kills a lot of things inside you. I believe as a man, where you have an income, nothing is stopping you from getting married as long as you have an income.
Let's go. This has been very insightful. So we have one closing tradition in podcast where you leave an advice. Because in our book, you're going to write this and you're going to tell us.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming to the Living Podcast.
Thank you for having me.